Well, it's another cold, snowy morning here. But I got to bring you your mental health minute. Let's get that week started off right. Let's get you warm. All right. Today, we're going to talk about what happens when loved ones and close ones to you really don't believe in mental health issues. All right. When we first start our journeys, with mental health issues, a lot of times the people closest to us don't respond so well. So let's talk about that and how to deal with that shit, yo. Because when it comes from loved ones, it hurts twice as much. Check it.
We still living when the loving is gone. Kill, kill was a government song. Sing along, it's just my brothers in arms. Gotta stick together, now more than ever, it's on.
Hello, YouTube. It's G-Man5338, your streetwise professor, coming to you today with a mental health minute. Today, it's 3 weeks of sobriety for me. Holy shit. That's right. It has been a crazy 3 weeks full of ups and downs and some serious cravings, but I'm still here and I'm still dry. And I'm starting to feel better for it. It took me a while to really grip things mentally in terms of coping, relearning to cope with stresses and stuff. My tattoo shop still, I'm not ready to open that yet. I can't quite handle the stresses of having a business of my own, trying to help my wife out with her business and looking after the kids in the house. It's a lot for me to deal with. But I'm working on it, and I'm planning to open the shop again and get tattooing again as soon as possible. But I'm just not there yet, and I'm not going to push myself just yet because I don't want to risk the chance of hitting the sauce again. All right, because really I don't want to drink that cup of toilet water that I promised my spawn that I would drink if I had a beer. All right, but 3 weeks of sobriety, people. If I can do it, you can do it. Remember to check out smartrecovery.org if you're trying to quit, especially if you're trying to quit alone. All right. The quitting process is much easier when you have a system in place, when there is some help for you, some guidance. All right. And smartrecovery.org will get you there. Now, as I've talked about PTSD on the channel, I talk a lot about how sufferers of PTSD isolate themselves. All right. And we're going to talk about one of another big reason why people with PTSD and mental health issues isolate themselves from family, from friends, from the public. All right. And I'm not talking about, the PTSD shit keeping you from going out. I'm talking about a whole sort of other can of worms that will cause the PTSD sufferer or a person with mental health issues to withdraw. Now, when you first, decide that it's time to get help and you go get help, okay, you have a number of decisions and things that you need to ask yourself and that you need to decide, all right? And one of the big ones is disclosure. All right. And I'm not talking about this, disclosing your issues to strangers. I'm talking about, coming out to family and close friends that you have mental health issues or PTSD. Now, in my experience, there are like 3 typical responses you'll get from people. The first one that I've experienced. So the first reaction that I come across is disbelief. All right. Now, there are like 2 types of disbelievers here. All right. You're going to get one, all right, who doesn't believe in mental health issues. Some people legitimately think that mental health issues are a concoction of big pharma and doctors to simply generate money and keep populations controlled. Now, I don't buy that. I don't believe that. I think it's total bullshit. You can have your own opinion. Again, I don't hold opinions against people personally. I may think your opinion is misguided, lacking in evidence, facts, and void of experience. And I may resent your opinion, but I won't hate on you. Now, how do you deal with this person? Well, we'll talk about it because it's almost the same as when you're dealing with the second type of disbeliever. All right. Now, I have had people tell me, oh, I knew somebody who did that, and they are just fine. That's nice. Maybe they aren't. Maybe they're just hiding it well. Maybe they are fine. Maybe we are two entirely different people and the shit affects us differently. Everyone will interpret stresses and trauma differently, all right? Some people can handle it, and some people can't. Some people can handle one or two traumas, but, the more you tack on, the closer you get to hitting that red line of breaking. So now you've got the two disbelievers. You have the one who doesn't believe in mental health issues at all right? And then you have number two, the one who just simply believes that you can't have it because they know somebody, who's been through similar shit and they seem fine, or simply that they just don't believe that it's possible for you to have a mental health injury, all right? Now, the two ways I would suggest at dealing with these folk is by education, all right? And through especially relaying of experiences. Now, I'm not talking about relaying your traumatic experience to the person. I don't, and even on the channel when people talk to me or they're looking for guidance or help, I will never ask you about your experience because it re-traumatizes you. And I'm not interested in that. But in this case, especially with the person who believes in mental health issues, but just doesn't quite believe that you could have mental health issues, all right? Education is huge, and sharing your experiences. They will, once you start relaying, like when I talk about having crapped my pants, vomiting constantly, a lot of times people will just, because it's so extreme, something clicks in them and they realize that, wow, this is legit. All right. And then it's always good to provide them with some brief information on what your mental illness is, your mental health issues, or what PTSD is about. For the other person who doesn't believe in mental health issues, again, try to educate them. And if they still aren't, seeing the picture, then it's up to you to decide what to do. Do you ignore it? Do you argue it? Do you cut them out of your life? It's your call. All right. But that is the first one, the disbeliever. The second type of person you will encounter when you disclose your mental health issues will be the consoler, all right, the supporter. There will be people who unconditionally, unquestionably support you, all right? These people are awesome, okay? And they're a great place to start when you're looking to build a support network for yourself. The person who just welcomes you unquestionably with open arms, they are definitely the ones to keep in your corner. I've talked about this before, and when it comes to setting up your support network, you need to keep people in your life and in your circle that have your best interest at heart and on their minds. All right, and this is the best one to go to seek for that support. And they're also great because you don't really need to do much with them. All right, they believe you. All right. They are not a doubting Thomas. They don't need to be able to stick their fingers in your wounds in order to believe you. Now, for this person, how do you handle this person? Because you do need to handle them a bit, all right? They're going to require a bit of education. Same thing you need to do with the disbeliever. Provide them with education. Now, the education you need to provide specifically to the consoler or the supporter, all right, is a bit about what your mental health issues are. But more importantly, you need to remind them that if they are going to support you through your journey, okay, that they need to take breaks. They need to look out for themselves too, all right? Too often our supporters or our consolers are, they go hard or they go home when it comes to us, all right? Even my wifey, that's right, the ball bustress herself, has a support group for spouses of soldiers with PTSD, and she attends once a month, all right? They have retreats, all kinds of goodies and stuff like that to help her to recharge her batteries and kind of make sure that she is looked after. Now, the other thing is that when you've got a supporter like that and they're looking out for you, when you are feeling well, all right, you need to do something special for them. Show them that you appreciate their support and their help. All right. So when the sun is shining for you, please make hay for them. Now, the third person you will encounter is the person who really just doesn't give a shit. All right. Nothing wrong with that. All right. Now, they are more so indifferent about your issues. All right. If you need help, they may or may not be there to support you. They may or may not have their own opinions on mental health issues, but in general, they don't express it, and they will try to avoid it. So with this person, don't push them, okay? Don't force this shit down their throat unless it has to, okay? Or unless you have to, I should say. Because at some point in time, all of these three people, all right, are going to say nasty shit to you. All right. Now, it may not, necessarily be malicious in its intent, I guess you could say, but it's still pretty shitty nevertheless. My parents have said shitty stuff to me. My brother, again, wifey, the ball bustress, she has said some nasty ass shit. All right. And when it comes to stuff like this, it is, again, up to you as to how you deal with it. If you have the patience and it doesn't cause you to snap, it's not that, big of a knock. I would suggest just trying to ignore it and move on. All right. Now, there are times when you just fucking cannot do it. All right. And the Hulk comes out and you're PTSD raging because of something that they said to you. All right. Do your best to try and stay calm. If you got to voice, your saltiness with their comment, try to keep it just on a verbal argument level. If anything, don't let shit get physical. All right. And if you need to, take a break, walk away. All right. Don't engage at that moment. All right. But it is going to happen. All right. No word of a lie. The closest people to you will say the shittiest stuff to you. Okay. But it is ultimately up to you how you decide to deal with them. All right. Education is usually the best way when you're first starting out. If it happens later on in time, that's up to you to decide. All right. But I would suggest try to be patient if you can. I know it's not always possible. Sometimes you're just going to lose your shit, and that's how it goes, all right? But try not to be, over the top about it. And remember, don't ever let it get physical, okay? Control yourself. Do what you can. Now, the last thing I want to tell you when you're first, disclosing this stuff to people is to keep your head high no matter what. There's nothing wrong with you because you have mental health issues. You're not a problem, all right? You're a human being who just feels maybe a little different than others, whatever, all right? You have mental health issues. There is nothing morally, ethically, or anything wrong with you, All right. So hold your head high no matter what people tell you. When I disclosed to the military that I had PTSD, they treated me like shit. All right. Immediately, I lost my driver's license. I lost my gun. They took me off of all of my cases. And I sat at work for probably 2 weeks, twiddling my thumbs, because nobody knew how to deal with me. Nobody wanted to try to deal with me. Then what they did after that is they got rid of me. All right. So now I lost wages because they put me in what was basically a penal colony, or a penile colony, for wayward fucking cops. I was stuck in this group of people who were basically discipline problems. There were a couple other dudes who were broken, like, physically, but yeah. And they provided, again, no meaningful work for us, no nothing. And at that point in time, I just kind of lost my shit with the system. I freaked out. I went back to my office, to the detective's office, and I fucking lost it. I snapped on my bosses. One of them asked me how I was doing, and I fucking unloaded truthfully. So, I'm telling you, you got to hold your head high. In the end, I just stopped cutting my hair. I stopped shaving. I stopped wearing a uniform. I stopped following their fucking rules, because clearly their own rules didn't apply to me. So I'm not going to apply any of their other rules to myself either. All right. I disassociated myself from the military before I even retired. All right. So I want you, number one, through it all, keep your head held high. Don't let anybody put you down because you've got mental health issues. Don't let anybody make you feel that you're any less of a person because you're suffering upstairs in your Milan. All right? There's no reason for that. Little people fucking do that. All right? And the other people that do that are people with mental health issues, because they're fucking so scared to admit that they may have it themselves. They can't handle you being around. All right? So there are the 3 types of people you will encounter when you disclose your mental health issues to them. And the best ways, I feel, in my opinion, to react to them. All right? And like I said, remember, just keep your head held high. Stay up, stay strong, and look out for each other, people, because we are all we got. Peace.
Yo, this one's going out there to all my homies, my natives, my brothers, my family that's supporting me. Those that are overseas, those that are on lockdown, and those that are free.
Gordo. We still living when the loving is gone. Kill, kill was a government song. Sing along, it's just my brothers in arms. Gotta stick together, now more